Hello students. So in the last lecture we covered about plant cell and there we talked about some special features of plant cells and on some structures that are only present in plant but not in animal. And one of them was the cell wall, the chloroplast and the large central vacuole. So, we know from the diagram it is clearly visible that the animal cell doesn't contain a cell wall. It has cell membrane. The cell membrane, we know the function of cell membrane. It controls what enters the cell and what leaves the cell. So this property of the cell membrane is referred to as selective permeability. The cell wall, if someone asks you what is the property of the cell membrane, you can simply say in a word like it is selectively permeable, like it controls what enters and what leaves the cells. Now, one by one, we will see the function of every component, every organelle within this animal cell. So, cell membrane control what enters and leaves the cell. Such like that is the cytoplasm. It is a jelly-like substance in which the organelles are suspended. Like, see, when we move back, see, this is the cytoplasm, blue thing, and every organelle is submerged in it. So it is like a jelly-like structure, right? Then we have the nucleus. Nucleus is like the brain of the cell. It controls all the cellular activity. How it controls? Because it has the genetic material DNA. Then we have nucleolus. Nucleolus is a small structure within the nucleus. It is the site where the ribosomes are produced. And then we have mitochondria. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It provides the cell energy, and the energy is in the form of ATP. So ATP is like currency of the cell. When the cell, it's just like when we spend money, we get things. Similarly, in the same way, when mitochondria spend this ATP, then it produces energy, it gets energy, and how this ATP is produced? This ATP is produced through a process called cellular respiration, which we will learn in detail in our higher classes how this production take place. But for your level, you just remember that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It produces energy, and in what form? It is in the form of ATP. Now we talked about ribosome. Who produces the ribosome? The nucleolus. And what is the function of the ribosome? The ribosomes makes protein, and proteins are important for the body to function. Then we have the endoplasmic reticulum. There are two types, rough endoplasmic reticulum and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So what is the difference? The rough endoplasmic reticulum has ribosomes on their surface. That's why they are called rough endoplasmic reticulum because their surface is not smooth. And the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, see here the green color bodies, they doesn't have ribosome on their surface. So their boss surface is smooth. So they are called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now what is the function? So the ribosomes attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum help in making the protein, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum make lipids and deoxifies harmful substances. So it protein on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosomes make, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum makes lipids. Now, who does the packing thing? Golgi Apparatus is like the packaging department, holds the packaging departments. It modifies packages and transport protein and lipids. So whatever that is formed within the endoplasmic reticulum, it is passed on to Golgi apparatus. They modifies packages and transport them. What is then we have other structure like the lysosomes. What are lysosomes? So lysosomes are basically, they are in common word we can say like suicidal cells, suicidal organelle. Why they are called suicidal organelle? Because they digest waste material. Whatever the waste the cell will produce is digested by the lysosome, and when it digested, it worn out. Okay, and worn out cell organelles, it digests like whatever the organelle within the cell is like damaged or the waste produced by the organelles is like digested by the lysosome. So it is referred to as the suicidal organelle. Then we have vacuoles, same as plant, small, they are small storage sac in which like food, some amount of food or water or waste is stored. Then there is an important organelle within the cell, which is the centriole. It was not present in the plant cell. So what is the function of the centriole? We talked about cell division. We talked about the cell theory in which we said about Rudolf Virchow that omnicellular acellular. What was the meaning of omnicellular acellular? It meant that every new cell arises from pre-existing cell. So how does this existence take place? It take place by the division. See, here we have one cell. The cell will divide and form two cells. So how this division take place? This division take place with the help of centriole. So centriole is the organelle that help the cell to divide from one to multiple, right? Then we have cytoskeletons. The function of the cytoskeleton is to provide shape and support and movement to the cell. So, in the plant cell, it was the function of the cell wall to provide shape and support. But in animal, we don't have the cell wall. So, whose function it is? It is the function of the cytoskeletons. So, with this, we covered our animal cell. Now, we'll see some characteristics of an animal cell. So, animal cell has no cell wall, no chloroplast, and usually have small vacuoles, and the shape is often round or irregular. And who holds them in a particular shape, who helps them to maintain shape it and provide support? That is the cytoskeleton, sorry. And then now we'll talk about two terms, the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. So, uh, what is the meaning of the prokaryotes? So, we talked about bacteria. Bacteria is a type of a prokaryotes. So we till now saw that animal cell and the plant cell both have a nucleus. The nucleus was bounded with a nuclear membrane, and within the nucleus, in the center, we have the nucleolus, and all the genetic material like DNA was present within the nucleus. Same in the case of animal cell, we saw, right? But there are some type of cells which does not have a nucleus. So the genetic material is present in spread in the cytoplasm. So such cell are called the prokaryotic cell. An example of such prokaryotic cell is the bacteria and archaebacteria. These, you just remember the bacteria, the simplest organisms. These are cells, these type of cells in which they don't have a nucleus and the genetic material is spread in the cytoplasm. Then this type of cells are called prokaryotic cell, and the cells in which we have a nucleus, then that type of cells are called eukaryotic cells, such as a plant cell, animal cell, fungi are the example of eukaryotic cells. See, they don't have a nucleus. They have a nucleus. They are very small in size from zero point 0.1 to 5 micrometer, and they are enlarged in size from 10 to 100 micrometer. So their DNA present is freely present in the cytoplasm. So it is either be singular or double stranded. Sorry, circular. This is something that we'll learn in the higher classes. For now, you remember that their they have DNA spread in the cytoplasm, and they have a DNA which is present in the nucleus. Right? They have membrane-bound organelles. They don't have a membrane-bound organelles. They have membrane-bound organelles. What's the meaning of membrane-bound organelles? See, when I talk about, see, every membrane, every organelle in the animal and the plant cell has a membrane. Like, see, they have a membrane, outer membrane, right? Like the cell have the outer membrane, same the mitochondria is also having membranes. But in the prokaryotes, we don't have membrane-bound organelles. So they showed cell division These are some higher points. I just wanted to highlight it to show the difference, but you remember the definition and some basic points, right? So we'll talk about it also. Like cell division, they show by binary fission. It is a type of cell division. Then in eukaryote, type of cell division is through mitosis and meiosis. It is a complete process, right? They have ribosomes, which is 70s. It's like a size, smaller ribosome. They have larger ribosomes, and there's usually present cell wall. But in case of like plant eukaryotes, only plant have those. Plant and fungi has cell wall, but animals don't have. They are simple in organization and they're complex. And what's the example? Bacteria and archaea are the example. And here the plant and the animal are the examples. So just remember prokaryotes as the primitive cells, like we know about evolution. Like first the earth, when the earth formed, the organelles present in that time, the organisms present in in that environment was simple. So prokaryotes are the simplest organisms, and then with time we evolve, and eukaryotic cells were formed. So ultimately, a defined structure was formed. But do you remember prokaryotes as the simplest organism in which the nucleus is not present, but eukaryote are the organism in which the nucleus is present, right? With this, we complete our series of cells, and I hope you learned a lot of things from this series. And I will start with a new topic in the next slide, in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring. Thank you.